Welcome to my second project. Here's the short story. When elephants flap their ears, they cool down. So originally, Manuk, the manager here, came to me with a video from a different elephant museum asking me if I could make this exhibit. Here is the original video that we were talking about.
En harder. Nog harder.
I think I got this video when Morgan and I were traveling through Vietnam, and I looked at this and I was thinking there's probably like two different ways that I could build this. One is I could code my own Arduino with some, LEDs, and the second way is maybe I can find some mechanical sequential switch that will turn on one chunk at a time every time I push a button. And I got here, I started researching. I couldn't find any kind of sequential switch to turn on different chunks of lights. So I had to go with plan A, the Arduino code plan. Okay, it's time to get technical. The specific LEDs that I bought are SW2812, SW2812, and they are red, green, blue, individually programmable LEDs. They have 3 wires going between them. They have 5 volts, they have a data wire, and they have ground. This was really important because that allows me to group together LEDs so that I can have only one of them turn on at a time. What I'm also saying in here is the way that I did this is even though there's strips of LEDs and they all stop and start in different places, this is actually one continuous strip of LEDs that's connected through wires running through the back. Now we're at the back of the elephant. This is where I have the electronics box, and inside we have the power supply right here. This sucks in 220 volt AC and spits out 5 volt DC that powers our Arduino. So on the back of our Arduino, I had to solder together my own circuit board. So once I had soldered together that circuit board, I had to program it. I found a cartoon photo of an elephant online. I projected the image of the cartoon elephant onto a piece of plywood, and then I traced it out with a Sharpie, and luckily they had a jigsaw that I was able to cut it out with. I realized that I'm actually much better at electronics than I am at painting because I added so much paint here and it was so hot. Not sure you can see it, but the paint wrinkled. Look at that. That paint wrinkling was the bane of my existence because it wrinkled after the first coat. So I'm like, I know what I'll do. I'll add a whole bunch of really thick paint to cover up the wrinkles, and it made it 10 times worse. After the second coat of paint wrinkled really badly, I just left it. And instead, I just increased the brightness of the LEDs so you can't really see the wrinkly paint while the LEDs are on. After I had these 2 wooden elephants cut out and painted, I realized I needed a nice big metal frame to put them on. And the guys at the maintenance shed, I came up to them with the worst drawing of all time. I'm like, it needs to be 1.5 meters tall, 2 meters long. We're gonna make each foot 1 meter wide. And they cut that thing and welded that thing entirely in basically one day. They had the entire frame welded together. I learned how to stick weld myself. I stick welded on this little bracket right here that holds these huge bearings. So at about this point in the project, we added plexiglass to the outside of the elephant. And what this does is it stops bugs and critters from making little homes in the holes next to the LEDs. Overall, here are the lessons I learned from the project. First and foremost, if you want to paint a nice, beautiful layer of gray paint on wood, and you don't want it to wrinkle, or if you want to fix the wrinkles, don't add a really thick coat. It doesn't work. Add many thin coats, Austin. Also, if you want to find very specific LEDs, specific programmable microcontrollers, don't go to stores. Just go online to begin with and order them rush. Those are the two big lessons learned here. In conclusion, I'm pretty happy with this project. I like the way it turned out. Pumping those LEDs, making them super bright, covers up my mistakes. And I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna miss this little elephant.